All right, hello and welcome to That's the Point. This is the place where we talk about construction technology. My name is Corey Meyer, joined by my illustrious colleague, Mr. Jeremy Horn. How's it going, man?
Good, good.
All right, so here we are today, and we want to this year we've been doing a good job of taking a step back and look at some of the stuff that's often overlooked in the more basic functions of FieldLink, but can really unlock some power. And I think that one of those things today comes into the layout side of things, and specifically we're talking about patterns and the ability to use patterns to maybe automate some of your workflow or simplify some of the things that you do out in the field every day. So you've got a basic regular grid line file lined up, and we're going to talk just real quickly about how to quickly throw some patterns into FieldLink and maybe save some design time.
Yeah, absolutely. And really what this is about is when we have to create data that our guys in the field may not have, or in addition to what's in our file for what we're laying out.
Right, you might have just like a center of column, but you don't actually have your bolt pattern out there for the anchor bolts or something.
Right, correct. So this allows us to be able to create a pattern of points that we know is consistent, that we can just pop in wherever we want instead of having to keep manually offsetting 500 times or even 20 times.
Even 20 times isn't fun. Okay.
Right, absolutely.
That makes sense.
So yeah, if we go up here to create and then look down towards the bottom, you'll see pattern. Once we click on this, it's going to pull up little grid line here with center, which is basically just think of it the same as an XY axis, with the center being our 0. And we want to think of that as that's the center of our pattern. So if we're talking about an anchor bolt, the center of our grid line would represent that center. So it's as simple as just looking at each one of these grid spacings and then dropping our points manually around this center. So if we just had a 2 foot by 2 foot anchor bolt pattern here, we just, oops, messed that one up. There we go. Then we simply select that 2 foot by 2 foot pattern, hit add points. Then we save that pattern, name it. Let's say we'll name this one 2 foot AB for anchor bolts, right? Save. Now we've saved that pattern we've created. So now we want to implement that and start laying that out on our file. Well, if we look at the bottom left, there's a little point there right by that icon that we're on now. We select that point. Now it brings us back to our actual file. We can see all of our column line intersections here on the file that we have. So if I wanted to now start dropping this down, I just hit the select pattern. I've got my 2 foot AB one there. Hit load pattern. And now I just tap my points. So now wherever I tap, it's just going to drop that pattern. And if we have sometimes we might have some unique patterns and then it changes and has a rotation to it. If you look in the center here, these left and right buttons, it actually does allow us to rotate and even change the angle if we need to as we're rotating these. So you'll see here, I got 4 there. I would just then hit create and boom, I've dropped those points. If I go up to another one and tap, you'll see it'll just quick as I can tap it.
Okay, yeah, that is a little better than 20 taps.
Yeah.
Patterns can be used for other things too. It's not just like a bolt pattern, right? Because a lot of times you can use this for saving some other workflow related issues like offsets.
Yeah, exactly. So something tons of our clients do on a daily basis is set up offset of grid lines on the project, because they get out to a project, they're on a deck, columns are already poured, and so they're given snap lines that represent offsets. And typically there'll be like an east offset and a north offset, and those intersections is where we want to lay out. Well, a lot of times we've trained guys to go into create or plan, and then you just start manually punching in all these offsets. Well, we can use this feature for that same thing. So actually if we go to select pattern, I had created one that's 5 foot offset. So this is 5 feet east, 5 foot north of center. So when I load that one, you'll see now I can just go here.
Oh, wow.
Create, and as many as I want to.
And you're creating all your 5 foot north and east offsets every single time you tap. Then you can set up your whole grid like that.
Yeah, much faster and easier than doing it manually like we've done before.
That's a pro tip, man.
Yeah.
That's why we have you on. All right, and of course, if you have any other questions, reach out to your local Building Point representative. They're here to help. This is exactly what they excel in. And thanks for coming on today.
Yeah, no problem.
That was a cool tip. All right, and don't forget, smash that subscribe button so you stay up to date with the latest tips, tricks, and pointers. And we'll see you next time on That's the Point.